try it all you want, but when you stop at the intersection of classic hip-hop and culinary arts, you find FoodDope, the legendary podcast that personifies the culture through conversations with hip-hop influence, executive chefs, restaurateurs, and food influencers.
Throwing up flat like a ref, whipping up bricks like a chef.
Welcome to another edition of FoodDope. This is your host, the Professor, and today I'm sitting in with a special guest. I just told him a minute ago that when I started this concept just from this seed, he's one of the first people that reached out to me. So I knew I was going to have to get him on the show, and I was going to have to get him on early and hopefully often, because this won't be the last time. This brother is pretty cool. I just met him, man, and I hope this relationship will be able to build, because we already talked some dope shit off, off the mic. And this is my brother from Rebel Foodie by Poe. Go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
Peace and blessings to you and yours out there. Thank you for coming through and hanging out with us at FoodDope Podcast. I just had to come through, show some love. Born and raised in Chi-Town, South Side. Migrated out here to San Diego, SD. That's on the West Coast. I'm in the community of Ocean Beach. My business is Rebel Foodie by Poe, Black owned and operated. The R, the B, and the L in my name is capitalized. It's bold lettering, and that means rebellious, bold, liberated food to experience. I do content creation. I got a TV show in the making. Just signed a contract for that. I do culinary classes on the virtual sense and intimate in person. Like I said, content creation, clubhouse, moderation, and influence. I do music as well. We do catering, pop-up events, food tours, music-wise. I'm with a collective called Guilty Bystanders. So I want to give a special shout out to Earnestly Irie 360. That's her Instagram handle. Her stage name is The Artist R, but it's Irie Elevated. Right. And her brother, my brother-in-law, because that's wifey right there. This is all fam. And my brother's name is Steveland. In case you didn't know, little fun fact, Stevie Wonder's real name is Steveland.
Steveland.
You can look that up. It's Steveland. So he was named after that. And the importance of naming somebody after a certain energy or whatever, it kind of gives you, it instills that, what can I say, that drive in you. It's like you just feel different. You feel, I'm not saying you need to feel extra special, like more special than anybody else, but it gives you something to look forward to, like having a name that really means something, or at least if it's passed down from a relative, like an ancestor that really did something dope for the community. It'd be dope to be named after that person. For example, my daughter's name is Ebony Rose, so she's just a blossoming rose. We got a project called Graffiti Rose that we're working on at Studio West, which is in Rancho Bernardo. They've done a whole bunch of things for movies and everything, Disney and all that. So the engineer is Ian Sutton. He's pretty dope. You can find him on Facebook. He's engineering the project. But Steveland, his stage name, one of which he has like a mini, is Steve Got Slaps. And, we helped to produce the concept and everything, but my man took care of all the hands-on musicianship, and I kind of produced in the sense of like the Diddy style from back in the day, like do this, move this around, all that, because that counts too. That's the talent too. You know what I mean? So I kind of did a little orchestration like that. Wifey added on with all of her talents and helped with hook duty and singing and dope ass ad libs and all that. It's just a well-rounded project, brother, that we cooking up. And we always incorporate food and music, man. We always do that.
What that's dope, Chef. What year were you born?
I'm 76, brother.
76, bro.
Yeah, I'm a fire sign. I'm an Aries, man. 3/27/76.
Generation X, man. I love it.
Yes.
Because while you were sitting there talking, and that's everything that I embodied when I created this show, because I like to say our generation, man, we created some dope ass individuals. I've been around people. I had a show called The Genius Generation where I celebrated the people, I've been around growing up in hip hop since like maybe 18 years old. People that, like I like to say, pull drum machines right out the box and teach themselves how to program $4,000 machines, stuff like that. it takes a genius to learn how to write a rhyme. To write people.
It does.
Over history, people take a shit on it and say, you know, this is that. Well, let me see you sit down there and try to write a rhyme, write a song, write a narrative, and get people to believe it, and put it over a dope ass beat. You know,
takes a lot of time. It took me. This is crazy. So a little quick backstory to pivot into this. So it got to a point in my life where I started going through, you know, we all have our hurdles. We go through the hardship. Yeah. You got to learn, when you look back at it, you got to learn to embrace the hardship, because it's always for the betterment of self, right? And if you do right by yourself and you take care of you and yours and put yourself out there, you can also be a beacon of light and be supportive for the community. I don't mean you have to be a martyr or anything like that. You know, just don't just think about just you. Don't be selfish. Be a selfless individual. I mean, clearly we are all spirits down here that have a human experience, and we got to embrace that, man. We got to embrace the higher frequencies, the lower, the ups and downs. So back in, it was like 1999, going into 2000, may have been 2000, I believe it was 2000. And I was homeless at the time. I was staying at a shelter, St. Vincent de Paul. And my brother, my spiritual brother, who I didn't know at the time would be that, right? Divine and Blah, Beautiful Life Allah. But Divine or J1 or Just One. Right. So Blah is a Belizean brother who's from, he was born in New York, but kind of grew up in like San Jose and whatnot. Okay. And he's a producer. He was my original producer, right? Was and still is, right? Yeah. And he goes by The Formula. That's THE number 4 MULA. I used to go by The Format, THE number 4 MAT. Yeah. And then I shortened it. I changed it out. I added The Format Tomorrow's Poet, because I'm like, yo, I'm getting pretty nice with this. So he's like, you know what? You know how we be coming with the aliases and whatnot. I'm like, I'm kind of nice with the sword and whatnot. So I started adding that. I said Tomorrow's Poet, because I want to represent. It's okay, you know, if I can't help to change the minds of cats in our generation or the generation underneath, but we need to reach the youth, right? Because we know those are the contenders. Those are the individuals that's gonna light it up and make a difference. That's gonna change society locally and globally, right? Yeah. So I say, you know what? Let me add that to it. And then I say, you know what, man? I'm gonna just go by Potential, man, which is my name anyway. Poe, Chef Poe when I'm cooking it up, and Potential when I'm cooking it up in the stew. You feel me? Yeah. So that's kind of they go for it.
What you originally from the Chi? You out there in San Diego right now. What neighborhood you from in Chicago?
So I moved around a little bit. And this is how I went. I left Chicago originally on the cusp of turning. I left when I was turning 13. Okay. And the reason why is because it was just getting way too violent and wild. So that was 89. That was about 89. I was that's going on 13. Okay. 89 was pretty crazy out there in Chicago. And I said, you know what, man, and, you know, talking to mom, I was getting in trouble, had some issues with a couple of different individuals. You know how I go. Yeah. My mom had issues with individuals. We looking at the TV, we gawking at the palm trees and the sunshine, the lack of snow and all that. And it's like, you know what? We collectively said, let's go. At the time, it was just me and my little sis and everything. So we came out here. At the time, I'm going to tell you where I went. So I went to Adam Clayton Powell, in Chicago. I used to always get into little fights and drama with kids from Bradwell. Yeah. I end up putting that in a little song and everything. But, the song ain't out yet, but I kind of tell like a little backstory. Oh, it's dope. Basically it's going from Chicago to California. So it's called I'm From. It's pretty dope or whatever. But maybe another time we'll play it. I got the speaker set up and you'll be able to hear it through. Okay. But needless to say, I grew up on 75th and Phillips, 75th and South Shore Drive. Okay. And those were the two major areas. I was at Phillips and South Shore Drive for pretty much the bulk of my life. And I guess a little bit on like 60 something in Cottage Grove, but I was really, really young. I don't fully remember that. My granddad was kind of like a gangster and the pimp out that piece. Yeah. I mean, he was a ladies' man. He was everything. I mean, this dude was DJing, he was bartending. I was like, yo, when do you have time for anything? You know what I mean? He was just everything. And he used to put me on to all of the 72s and the 45s or whatever, all of the classic records or whatnot. Okay, so we were staying on where was we at? 77 and Phillips when we ended up leaving that point and migrating out to San Diego. A handful of things happened. You know, it was just really, really drama infused and negative. So this is what happened. This goes back to the story I was telling you. When I met Divine and Beautiful Life Allah, when I met them, it was kind of like it was just a surreal moment because it allowed me to build a bond with some brothers. They're both being my brothers, but one had more of a fatherly energy because he was older. He's just like heavily enlightened. That's Divine. He's still my enlightenment. I'm calling him, hitting him up for advice on cryptocurrency related matters and everything because my man is nice with it. A quick plug off to the side. He got a little remember the song called "Bitch Better Have My Money" by AMG?
AMG, yeah. Oh yeah.
So he came with a website called Bits, like as far as Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Bits Better Have My Money.
Better have my money.
.com. So it's BITSBETTA. Check that out. He got a roadmap on there that'll teach you how to do cryptocurrency and get up your multitude of revenue streams. I meet these guys. They started speaking supreme alphabets. I didn't understand that at the time. They was talking to each other. And they're like, what are they talking about? They came to battle us being me and these other two cats I had. One, his name is Age Words. He's currently a DJ out here, Jonathan York. Really, really nice with it in the San Diego area. He's a Native American. So it was him and it was my guy, Lyrical Ace or LA. So I was, they felt like I was the nicest out of all three. And it was like, yo, he's sharp. And then they found out I was from Chicago. And then it was a kind of like a quick crack and everything because I'm like, yo, I gotta go. They're like, well, you got like a curfew or something? Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I gotta go to the shop. I gotta check in. So they was like, okay. They started speaking their language, whatever. I didn't understand. The Nation of Gods and Earths.
5% Nation of Gods and Earths.
5%, right? So once they shedded some light, they're like, look, man, you can come and stay with us if you like. I don't know these cats. I just met them, right? I only spent like maybe 45 minutes, an hour freestyling and shooting the shits with each other. Yeah. And then next thing you know, man, I ended up linking up with them. They took me out of that. They say, hey, no pork. We need cleanliness and no unwanted guests, and then you can stay with us. I haven't eaten pork since then. So that's how I was able to go back to Chicago. So Divine allowed me to stay with it. They, moms and them, Mama Joyce and all them, they trust him so much, and they love his character, and he has a great sense of who to be around, who not. And they just both saw something in me. So me and Blah, we started making music. Me, Blah, and Just. We came with Dark Side Residence. I ended up going, or DSR. I ended up going to Chicago, staying with that. And then I moved back out here being San Diego. And where did I move back? I moved back 2009. Okay. When I went back out there for those 9 years, I stayed 81st in Ingleside, 77 in Coles, 84th in Stony. Okay. So it was technically always the South Side. Okay. As a chef, I did work North and Northwest, but it was really always South Side bound,
Okay. Now, I've never been to Chicago in my life. I got family, on the South Side. My parents, before I was born, they first got married at 19. They left Louisiana, moved to Chicago. And I think if it hadn't been for my dad getting drafted to go to Vietnam, I think they would have stayed. But once he left, went to war, my mom moved back to Louisiana. That's how my roots come from, South Louisiana. I-10, all on I-10.
You from Louisiana? I lived in Lake Charles, Louisiana for a little bit.
Man, that's my birthplace, man.
I didn't even know that. Out there.
I was born in Lake Charles, man. Bruh. I was born in Lake Charles, lived in Lafayette, New Orleans, and then I moved to Atlanta. I've been in Atlanta 30 years now.
How's the ATL, man? How is it? I mean, actually, I've been out there like one time, but not enough to really know how it is, though. I killed the Waffle House, though. I killed that like 7 days a week.
it changed a lot over, man. It changed a lot over the 30 years. It wasn't quite a sleepy small town when I was here, but it was growing. And I think the difference between 30 years ago and now is like when our parents came here, it was because of job situations and stuff like that. But I think now a lot of the migration is people think they're gonna be stars. The whole that's what it is. People came here.
It's a process everywhere, though.
Yeah,
to be a star.
Yeah. So, now, were there any artistic merits or attributes in your upbringing or in your family that led you to culinary arts? Because I like to look at like to tie it back into hip hop and rap. Artistry is something that can be passed on and you can express it in a different way. But that artistic merit came from somebody else in your bloodline. So that's what I'm speaking of.
Honestly, brother, it's mom. My mother, man. Rest in peace. Carolyn Marie Ernest, man. She passed and this is not a sad moment, because she's with the ancestors. She's doing good. She in paradise. But she passed in 2007. December 23rd of 2007, at the time which I was still in Chicago. Right. And she was part of the inspiration for actually helping me to write and make better music. So oddly enough, I felt like I actually hit this point to where everybody that hears me spit something is like, yo, he's pretty nice with it. And you saying something, and that's not to toot my own horn. It's just, I put more than what they say, 10,000 hours. I put way more than that. Yeah. I put that times 3. You feel me? So food wise, same thing. Both of them are neck to neck with 20 plus years. And there's no way I feel outdated because I keep my mind sharp. I keep my spirit sharp. I'm doing better about keeping my body sharp. You feel me? So I'm working on the internal being now and then working on the external being also. But food, it was my mom with the ability to manifest miracle meals. 5 ingredients and you got a whole feast. And we all experienced that. So how did I go from that to doing like gourmet street food, my own signature lane, right? Nobody does food the way I do it, or hitting you with the classic traditional. How did I do that? It was just literally just watching and studying the game. I didn't go to culinary school, but I went to culinary school. Right. You know what I mean?
That's what's up. Now, the first time in your life where you've had the autonomy to go ahead and make something yourself and you had the first ingredients at your disposal, what was it you put together?
If I remember correctly, it would have been spaghetti at not meatballs because I wasn't that gifted yet, but it was definitely a pasta dish. I love Italian food, so I was heavy into that. When I say I still am, but not as much. I kind of migrate cultures. I like I'm a fanatic of Mediterranean. Yes. I just, I love a lot of Eastern cuisine. I love a lot of African cuisine as well. I definitely I even love French food, but I wouldn't eat it as much now since currently not my diet, because I hate diet. DIET. Now I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna manifest that. Yeah. So I consider it my food plan or my lifestyle, as it were. Yeah. So it's plant-based, veganism. I'm practicing that. Do I rock like genuine leather if it's fly? Yeah. So I'm not gonna say I'm vegan in my style of gear. You feel me? But I might rock a faux type jacket or something if it's nice, if it's gonna set me up right. Outside of that, that's what it was, man. It was a pasta dish. It was it was like a spaghetti and ground beef. And I look, I got the bell peppers and the onions in it and everything. Yeah. And I never forget. I started getting into I was in Las Vegas at the time when I was in my early part of my career. And actually during the early part of my career, I got to cook for a lot of hip hop artists, man. I got to cook for or music related or classic like individuals. So this is what I cooked for. I cooked for for Todd Smith, aka LL Cool J.
LL.
I got a chance to cook for him a couple, like 1 or 2 times. I cooked for what's his name, Bizarre D12.
Okay.
I cooked for Steven Spielberg,
Okay.
Andrew Dice Clay,
Oh, damn.
Chris Farley before he passed.
Damn.
That dude was wearing a hot pink suit, doing lines of cocaine, sweating up a storm, telling the most funniest jokes. Like you was about to piss on yourself trying to make this food and laugh at this dude. It was crazy.
Yeah.
He was dope. Rest in peace to him.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, Robin Williams.
Robin
Rest
Williams.
in peace to him.
Wow.
Sinbad, Andrew Dice Clay, Montel Williams.
Damn.
And Eric B of Eric B and Rakim.
Man, you got a who's who list, man.
Yeah, I did a lot of that in Vegas, and
Right.
some of which in Chicago. I was actually out there when Tupac died. I was right down the street when he died, and a week before that, I bumped into Tretch at the there was a Fat Burger next to a club called Club Utopia, which was adjacent to MGM Grand, Coca-Cola Factory, and Gameworks.
Right.
So yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna holler at you about that because I'm gonna be in Vegas in a couple of months. So I want you to point me in the right direction, somebody to talk to.
Vegas is different, man. Okay. Like let me ask you this. What's one of the most popping food chains in the ATL area? And I'll let you know if they got one in Vegas or not. Because they got a Harold's Chicken in Vegas now.
In Vegas. They used to have a Harold's here
from Chicago. I was flabbergasted. We didn't get a chance to go to it, but I'm like, yo, they got all of the greats from all over. I was like, damn.
Now, this is your host, Nathan T. Rideaux, aka the professor, the curator of Dope Culinary. Dope culinary skills, culinary dopeness. This is International Food Dope, and today I'm sitting with Chef Poe from Rebel Foodie by Poe out of San Diego. Yeah. Yes. Now, Chef, lay out the history of Chicago hip hop for me, or Midwest if you want to, because my first experience, I think it was 92. I was in New Jersey. I was living in New Jersey with my brother for a minute, and I remember catching a glimpse of Common Sense, Sold by the Pound, the remix. I think the Beatniks produced that.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, and I don't think at that time he was Common, but he was still, coming into who he would be. But you saw the potential there. Now that was my first experience with Chicago.
That's a good experience.
Yeah.
On that album, he had the Souls by the Pound. He had that song Booming, where it's like, or that was the hook at least, booming and you're booming and you're booming and you.
So
that was my joint, and I am about to explode. Yeah. That was my jam. Here's the thing, I was actually listening to a lot. I'm not gonna front. Chicago was doing this a lot, man. We had our faves like Common Sense. Who's Common now, as well as Crucial Conflict, right? As well as Do or Die, as well as Tongue Twister, who's Twister, right? And my man made it to the Guinness Book of World Records, so kudos for him for that. I gotta look that up to see if anybody has beat him as far as speed of rapping. I don't know. I gotta look it up because I know that some of the other cats is pretty fast like that. Obviously, you got your Eminem from Detroit. And then you also have what's the brother's name? What's his name? The one from KC, Tech Nine. Tech Nine is pretty nice with it, pretty fast with it. So I got to look it up. But he had a Guinness Book World Record in there for just the triple time flow.
Yeah,
you feel me?
Yeah, and I think. One thing dope about Twister is that not only does he rap fast, it's the clarity in it. You can understand what he's saying, which makes him
That is
dope.
one of the things that sets him apart. That's why it's cool to see. Like, I'm gonna be honest, it took me years to get to a point where I could do the double time.
Yeah.
And I don't know about triple time. I can't really do triple time, but I'm nice. I'm nice with the double time. I incorporated in pockets though. To pay homage to Midwest, because I feel like Midwest gave birth to that. So that's one of the things that I would mention in the highlights of that. I felt like we really put that Midwestern energy in the music when we was coming up with it. And then obviously, you know, so you had your positive hip hop, you had your player music, you feel me?
Yeah.
You know, your pimp music, your player music, you know,
Do or Die. They made some incredible. I tell people all the time, man. Do or Die made incredible records with Johnny P. Man, I still listen on a weekly basis. I'm listening to Do or Die.
Yep. And if you want if you wanted this would be in the early 2000s if you because I really got more deeper into the Chicago hip hop scene actually when I went back. Before I was still a shorty and whatnot, and I'm listening to the oldies. I'm stuck on LL Cool J, Kool Moe D. You know, Rakim is absolutely still my old school all time favorite. You know, KRS-One is the business. Just One loves KRS-One too. I do love that new KRS-One joint that he got out. That thing is fire, man.
I gotta check it out. Okay.
Yeah. That's a reference. So yeah, make sure you keep this. Don't edit that out.
All right.
Yeah. Go check out that. He got this one joint called Black. I don't know if it's like 3 blacks or 4 blacks, but the way he spit and he incorporate that is just fire. And it's a message all rolled up in one. I got a chance to finally see that brother like twice. I seen him. Can't remember the first event, but the second event was like a little small club out in what was that, either North Park or something like that in San Diego, where they had like a lot of hip hop shit. It was fire, man. It was fire. It was straight fire. I haven't got a chance to see Common or Twisted. Have I seen anybody from Chicago? No, I owe that. I don't think I've seen anybody from Chicago live. So I got it to the later version of it. I went back and checked. I was one of those ones, and I feel like we need to do better as the generations get younger. It's like, I know it's like a separation of maybe a decade or 2 or even 3, but just do your homework, do the knowledge, put yourself out there to understand what came before, so you can do something special in the now and pay it forward for something even better in the future. And that's how I keep myself fresh. When people hear me or they hear what we got cooking or the people we associate with, there's a reason why I'm picking certain people and using certain reference points. So this music that we talking about, this age, this is what I always go back to as a reference point, because I don't just want a playlist. What if I want to rock out to an entire album, right? You can multitask with an entire, I could cook for clients off of having an entire album. I don't want this whole stop and go shit. You know what I mean? It's like, nah.
Yeah. Now, so I got on Spotify, man, I got an almost 19-hour playlist of nothing but dirty South classics, man. And just like you said, I bumped that in my ride. Leave it on shuffle, bump it. But every now and then I got to put an album on. When you put the album on, you get that full experience. Just like when you was a kid. When we was coming up, first thing you did when you bought a tape, you read the liner notes. You want to know where's
exactly. I want to know who did what.
Who's the picture? Yeah, I want to know the address so I can send a demo tape.
Exactly. When you really using that noodle, that's what you're thinking about.
That's what you're thinking, and you learn certain names when they get in the credits and everything. And I think that's another thing dope about hip hop. From nationwide, you have certain names of people that you wouldn't know otherwise, but their names have become immortalized, and they might not even be a rapper or a DJ. It's just somebody in the crew. Names become immortalized and passed down through traditions. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what's dope about the culture, bro. Now,
So now, when I went back really fast, I did start getting into some more of the really dope gangster music at the time, because I'm a fan of that too. I like variety. I like gangster movies. I like comedy movies. If I'm with wifey and the movie is dope, I can watch a rom-com. I can rotate. I'm a chameleon like that. I got into what do you call them? Goon Squad, and that was coming up in the early 2000s. Bump J and all of them, and it was dope, man. They had a little movement. So I like Lupe Fiasco. The first album was dope. I do like the first album. I did buy it. My second album is still my fave off of him, The Cool. I kind of felt like he leveled up. He just went in a different manner. And that's like, so I embrace the old, the new. One of my favorite newer, it's old school now, but newer collaborations. Remember when Puff Daddy had the song with Genuine and Twister on there, Is This the End? That thing was fire.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that joint off the Family, off the No Way Out album? Is this the end?
I do not remember
It was this
that.
whole little
No.
story. Write that
I
down. You got
write
to
it
listen to
down
that.
too.
So it's
Yeah.
basically Puff Daddy featuring Genuine and Twista. Twista and Puff Daddy is telling this story about an incident, and the music is just absolutely mind blowing. And Genuine delivers with the vocals.
Okay.
It's fire. So I like shit like that.
Yeah.
I like bringing old with the young. You know.
That's right. That's dope. Now I already can tell by the pictures you sent me. A lot of your creations, very colorful presentation, dope presentation, very colorful. It looks very textured. Looks to me to be perfect plate. What's the perfect plate to you in comparison with the perfect dope hip hop record? What makes the dope hip hop record and what makes a perfect plate?
A dope plate. Okay. All right. Well, let's start with the plate. What makes the dope plate is one or two things. Do you have a vision for that plate? Are you, because to try is to fail. So I do my best not incorporate try into my vocab. So you do or you don't. So are you making an attempt to tell a story, a joke? Are you giving directions? Because I give you that. Whatever you're doing, you need to make sure you execute that. You have that vision. So you can write it down on paper. You can draw it. You can visualize it in your mind. But let's say you put it on, let's say you start, and you got to figure out what is going to be your staging. Are you going to have this on the table, on a bed? Are you going to hold it and have that be clarity and have the background be blurry? Because that's fly too. Right? Is it going to be indoor? Is it going to be outdoor? Are you going to use natural lighting or ring lighting? Dope. So you got to go through all of those loops and, you know, those changes and channels to see what you're going to manifest. And then don't be happy with the first thing you see unless it's the right thing. And how do you know that? It just feels right. It's like there's just an energy, a layer of confidence that just comes down over you. And it's just like, all right, cool. I can rock with that. I always look for the little particulars, the nuances. I always quote Heath Ledger in the Joker role, savoring the little flavors and the little particulars and everything, the little nuances. You know, when he was talking about the knife as opposed to the gun. I'm like, yo, he's crazy for that. But he's right though. Like I always look for the particulars. I'm the one that's gonna see a crumb that's by there. I'm like, nah, I don't want that crumb on there, because if I can see it, somebody else can see it. Maybe they can't, but I assume everybody can see imperfections. Another tactic that I use is everything just about, or at least 50% of what I put into a dish, like let's say it's inside the dish, I like to spill it out on the plate or the board or the bowl as part of the canvas. So it's like I'm basically sharing with you. I'm putting the internal on blast, the inner spirit on blast. That's how I do the food. How I treat music, whether it's me studying something for the first time or going back to it, whether it's Songs in a Key of Life, which is a double album masterpiece, doing Stevie Wonder's genius period of making about 3, 4, 5 albums that were absolutely flawless, perfect. Okay, so when I look at that album, it's structuralized. It has a beginning, it has a middle, and an end. It doesn't need to always feel like a book, but that's usually the basis of putting together a book or a movie or something like that, right? You got to have a beginning. So you got to have what they call it clickbait. So you got to have something that's going to grab people, right? And then you got to hold them. First, you got to grab them, and then they can wiggle out on your ass. But you got to hold them. And then once you hold them and you tying everything together, it all comes together in totality in the end, the outro, the conclusion, the grand closing. So you got to have a grand opening. You got to show and prove once they come into your store, right? Deliver the goods, provide great customer service and all that. And then you got the grand closing. They can leave in peace. And you give them a conversation piece. So a few people has been able to do that. Is it classic or a masterpiece if it doesn't stand the test of time? That's debatable because some people be like, oh, well, this is not the flavor of society anymore. But let's keep it funky though. Poverty, sexism, ageism, mass incarceration, private prison, tax issues, all kind of there's a laundry list of things we talk about. They're still going on.
Broken glass everywhere. People pissing on.
Come on, man.
Just don't
Come
care.
on. How long ago is that?
It never
need to look and
changed.
see. We need to look. That song is dead. What 40 years old?
40. Yep.
Yeah, it's
40
like
years
40
old.
years old.
Mm-hmm.
So when I look at an album, okay, the perfect hip hop album for me, what is the perfect hip hop album? Give me a second on that one. Death Certificate. That's why I was loving the Ice Cube. Now that's not from Death Certificate. That's from America's Most Wanted or Kill It Will.
That's Kill It Will.
I think that's Kill It Will. There you go.
Yeah.
But Kill It Will was dope. America's Most Wanted is super dope.
Shout out to my man Lord Akeem for that dope drawing.
That shit is fire.
Yeah,
your poster is flyer too. The International Food Dope podcast. I love it. It's dope. I got to get a shirt, man. We got to work
bro, thank you.
I got to get a shirt.
Thank you. And you probably could notice by the formation of the logo. That was my way of paying tribute to one of my favorite groups of all time, which is Mobb Deep. Exact same.
Of course it is.
They have
Of course it is.
They have Infamous up here. I changed to
International
just because this shit sound fly. And,
so are we talking Hell on Earth?
Oh no, I'm talking Murder Music.
Okay, Murder Music was my joint.
Illustrious man.
Come on, man.
Take a walk, jerk. Man. This ain't Levert Sweat and Johnny Gill. This is rap for real. Something you feel.
Come on, Havoc, man.
Murder
one
Music.
Of the. I know you got that later, so I'm gonna save that. But Havoc is one of my top producers too.
Havoc. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He's definitely one of my top producers.
Yeah,
but the perfect album is definitely Death Certificate is one. Mm-hmm. It's just look at how it just tells a story from beginning to end. It's so mind blowing. Yeah. The Chronic is a masterpiece.
Chronic is a masterpiece.
Now, did it do some things that, it's society that's like maybe looking back as an older person, or if you have a daughter or a wife or something, but that was the times.
It was the time.
We can't justify it. I'm not going to justify it. I'll never justify that. But, all I can say is from putting it together and in a musicianship. One of my favorite songs on there is actually Lil Ghetto Boy and The Day the Niggas Took Over. Let Me Ride and all that.
Break them off some. Break them off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Common. One Day It'll All Make Sense. Classic album. Roots. Things Fall Apart. Classic album. Kendrick Lamar. I pretty much love all of his albums. I think all of his albums are masterpieces.
Okay. What I was saying was my favorite. I think one of my favorite my songs off Death Certificate is my favorite song. I have to be my Summer Vacation.
Yes, that's one of my faves too.
It's short but effective. It's short but effective.
Oh my god.
Bro.
Yeah. Well, no, that one had 3 verses. You might be talking about Bird in the Hand.
Bird in the Hand is short. That's right. I'm crossing the two. Bird in the Hand is short.
Yeah, you talking about Bird in the Hand. Yeah, that was the one that was short because the bird in the hand is worth more than the bush.
Yeah, right.
Yo, man, I love Compton's Most Wanted, Music to Drive By. Come on, man. I was a heavy fan of East Coast and West Coast at the same time.
Right.
What else? Big L was one of my faves.
Big L, yep.
Big Pun was one of my faves. Black Thought, one of my faves.
I like to say about hip hop, man, for people who like to think that you can grow out of it. Like we talked about ageism earlier. People think you can grow out of it and you can this and you can that. But the thing about the culture, man, is the nostalgia that's attached to it. I can remember at pivotal points in my life, I can remember what song was the hot at the time. And that's why those are my favorite songs, like The World Is Yours, Nas. That's my favorite song of all time.
I love that song, man. What was going on in your life when that came out? If you remember that one.
I was 20 years old, not, trying to figure myself out. Didn't know which direction I was going. And the one line, I need a new nigga for this black cloud to follow, because while it's over me, it's too dark to see tomorrow. That line, man, I must have rewinded that tape a million times just to listen to that one line. It made me think that I'm not the only one going through what I'm going through, man.
This
song,
it's funny.
The world is yours, man. It just pushed me into from being
whose world is this? The world is yours.
Bro. I sipped the Don P watching Gandhi till I'm
charged.
Writing in my book of rhymes,
all the words past the margin.
The whole of mic,
Come on, man.
Mechanical movement. Oh,
understandable smooth shit. The thief sting.
Yeah.
Play me at night, they won't act right. Scene of hip hop has got me stuck like a crack pipe. Come on, man.
So I think that, and ironically, 2 of my top 5 songs all time are produced by Pete Rock. So that's how I think Pete Rock became my favorite producer. That's dope. So they reminisce over you and the world is yours. That was 2
man. Come on, man. That's one of the dopest songs of all time, man.
Yeah.
And that's in my top 5 of songs of all time from a hip hop standpoint, man.
Yeah.
Growing out, I have no plans on growing out of hip hop.
Right.
I grew up with it. I think we need to get past that talk and say, fuck it. It's going to be here just as long as rock and all of these other genres of music has been there, because honestly, all of the other genres have been in the past, currently is, and will continue to be influenced by hip hop or one of its subgenres in some shape, form, or fashion.
Exactly.
For real.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I will say this too, as elder artists, businessmen and women and whatnot, we need to just make sure we open our mind up to start really checking for some of the young cats that's maybe 5, 10, 15, maybe even 20 years younger than us. Just do the homework, do the knowledge like we telling them to do. That shit applies to us too. We can't be like, oh yeah, I only listen this, that, and the third and hate on that. I mean, we passed the baton, right? Don't be stingy with it. You can't take it back.
You can't take it
Pass
back.
it. You know, you can collab and work with it. So this is why you got to respect these different movements that's coming up and coming with some solid shit. You know what I mean? So
and it took, for years. I'll always say my relationship with my son was affected for years because I always thought, why y'all can't be like we were, different generations. And I just didn't, I didn't understand that their experiences were different. Stuff they saw was different. The music, everything was just different. And I was just, and it affected us. But once I was able to understand through music to hear what the young cast was talking about and everything, things got better. And it opened up me up to more so than I used to be on. I used to be one of those people. I'm a real hip hop fan. So it gotta be a certain way.
And a purist and enthusiast.
I used to be that dude. And once I started embracing, man, what the young cast is doing, I'm loving. I don't know all of them. I only know a few of them names, but my son will put me on to something. I listened to it. He started rapping last year.
Who are you currently rocking out to?
A few years ago, man, I like the boy from Atlanta, the one that just got.
I'm gonna give you a recommendation. Here, I'll give you time to think about that. I'm gonna give you a recommendation.
I like
you like Jid?
I've heard the name before. I don't know much about.
What about Earth Gang?
I've heard that also. Heard that.
Okay.
You put me.
We're gonna come back to that. I'm gonna put you on. Go ahead. Who are you gonna say?
I like the boy YF and Lucci.
Okay.
I like him. I like, man. Oh, what's his name? Lil Baby.
Lil Baby is dope. I like him.
Baby.
I like Lil Baby. I like his energy. I like his drive. I like the way he flows and how he approaches the beats. I love that positive protest joint that he did too.
Yeah. I like that.
That shit was fire.
Yeah. And I like Young Boy. I like NBA Young Boy.
Okay.
I like music. I think my son's a fan of him, and my son put me on him, and I started listening, and I didn't get it at first. So I'm the kind of person, if you tell me about somebody, I'm going back to their first. I want to hear the progression. I want to hear the trend, how they progressed. It got better, So I went back to his first album. I guess he was 16. And I was like, damn, he kind of sounded like he was already polished at 16.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's kind of dope. So that's what I do, man. I get into catalogs. I don't.
So who do you think about the middle children? Like J. Cole and Kendrick and them fall in the middle. To me, they are the best artists of these modern times.
Yeah.
Along with Earth Gang and Jid.
I liked
those are the best.
We're Gonna Be All Right. That Kendrick.
Yeah, that was fire, man.
Yeah, that was fire right there.
Get into his albums, brother. I promise you this. If you listen to his albums, I'm talking about Good Kid, Mad City. I'm talking about To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Damn, and so on and so forth. You get into that and listen to it front to back.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you're gonna be impressed, man. My man is fire. My man is fire. You know, I'm talking about he literally took the old school approach of writing songs and everything. I mean, you got to look at that. He grew up on your Young Jeezy, but then your Jay-Z and your DMXs and all that. And DMX was fire. We can't sleep on DMX. I kind of felt like he was the East Coast version of Tupac, the way he was coming out, the way he was commanded. I remember Irie Elevated was telling me a story how she said, Rose was in her stomach when she went to go see the Hard Knock Life tour, right? And so Rose, our daughter she loved that time period of music, like Jay-Z and all that. But she said when DMX came out on that stage, and I mean, he came with just bare nothing. To do the prayer, and he had everybody just enamored and in tune with him just off of the prayer. That's how you command a stage. And that's actually what I look for. If I could see you command a stage and really kill it on some shit, then I'll check out your music. If I could see a live performance and see how you do, and then I can kind of look and say, all right, I see who you've been studying. You've been studying Parliament. Don't try to act like you haven't. You've been studying Parliament, or you've been studying Prince, or the legendary Michael Jackson, and so on and so forth. I mean, come on, that's all you got to do. So we can't knock the hustle, man. I mean, it's a lot of lame shit out, but it was a lot of lame shit then too. But
we like to
we just got more exposure to the lame shit. We got more access to it. That's why it seems like it's just more access, because you got streaming, you got so many different styles of networks and platforms and radio.
Now, Rebel Foodie by Poe, you have a wide array of services, culinary services that you listed. Go ahead, let's talk about those. What do you offer?
All right, so content creation means it's just I'm putting up things on different platforms, right? Creative posts, interactive posts, commentary, and things like that. It could be online cooking classes, or an episode, or whatever. I also offer catering, which during COVID you got to adapt. So it may be drop off, or it might be intimate. Intimate meaning not too many people, right? I offer exclusive private chef service. Maybe you might want a date night. Maybe you might want something for just you and your loved one, or just your household, or whatever. I can come to your house, or we can outsource to a different location. And see, I offer pickup plates. So ghost kitchen. Ghost kitchen means that the client doesn't have to be there. It's kind of like a restaurant or an establishment that you can rent out kitchen space and do your business. And then you can offer delivery out of that, maybe takeout sometimes, depending on the circumstance, or pickup plates. In my case, I offer a rotating menu where I cook in concert with the season. What does that mean? That means that if it's not in season, it's not on my menu.
It's not on your menu, right?
Yeah, because it needs to be in season, peak or something like that, for you to be like, okay, cool, I'm gonna get the best version of that fruit, or that vegetable, or that meat. So I offer food for vegans, vegetarians, and meat lovers, and seafood lovers. I do not alienate anybody, because a lot of times that's what a lot of these other businesses are doing.
Right.
Not throwing shade or anything. It's just that I wanted to be build an empire brick by brick that was all inclusive for certain things, and then exclusive for other things. So I offer mentorship. I offer food tours. So when I come out to your city, I just need a place to be hosted. Maybe like back in the day, you used to do these underground supper clubs, and you used to get room and board if you did it on a tour or whatever. I kind of want to bring that energy back. It's like, look, I'm willing to pay this rent to stay here for this night or two. I just want to stay in one little homely spot. And then obviously you get to eat for free. We do this pop-up at this event and then move on. So no matter what the way it's worked out, that's kind of like what I'm into.
Okay.
I offer food vendor service, where I partner up with different food vendors. So next week on the 12th, I'm going to be partnering up with Poorhouse Brewing Company,
Okay.
which is located in North Park, and they are fire.
Mm.
This Sunday, I'll be meeting up with a chef and some individuals from Edible San Diego magazine. They want to feature me in a magazine.
Dope.
While I was doing this, it looks like I got an invite to another content site. So it's like, blessings are just raining, man. It's like, look, I'm paying for it. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you, FoodDope. I got you.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I appreciate it.
I got a lot of services, brother. A lot of services. It's hard for me to remember. Product development. So that means that pretty soon you will be able to get some merch off of me in the form of food and hospitality merch. So you can go to my t-shirt line right now. It's called instead of catchphrase, Catch a Phrase by Poe. I got some really dope shirts and hoodies and stuff on there. You can check some stuff out like that. But I'm gonna send you something at some point anyway, though.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll talk about that.
Likewise.
So outside of that, I do recipe development. I am working on my e-cookbook right now.
Right.
So say a prayer for me on that, because that's a new challenge. I've been putting this off for 10 years. Wifey was like, you better get that cookbook written.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, you better get your book written.
Yeah.
So, and we just collab and just do different partnerships and everything. So I got, like I told you before the mic was on, I got that Bridging the Black movement, and also have this We Support Us campaign. And those are heavy on my list. I'll be also at Poorhouse Brewing on the 26th of February. And on the 28th, I'll be at an event called Dago Eats, which is by Black San Diego. And we're looking to get some media coverage from that too.
That's what's up. Yeah. That's what's up. Chef Poe. That's Chef Poe out of San Diego. And this is Nathan T. Rideaux, your host, your curator of culinary dopeness. And this is International Food Dope, podcasting live from suburban Atlanta, Georgia today. And I think you mentioned it earlier, man, but what's your favorite ethnic cuisine and why?
I
think you mentioned Mediterranean earlier or something.
But I just realized that soul food is more than just the American South. I didn't just realize it, but when I really thought about it, it also represents all of the diaspora, even from whether we talk about Belize, everything, all of that, Caribbean food. I would probably say it's probably Caribbean cuisine. It's actually my top. I can't eat jerk chicken now, but I can eat jerk something else.
Yeah.
It could be jerk plantains. It could be, I'll figure it out. It could be jerk vegetables or something like that. But and not just that. I don't want to just go take it to that, but I also love, like I said, the Mediterranean, because I love hummus and everything, man. I'm a huge fan of hummus, tabbouleh salad, and all of that stuff. So I would actually narrow it down to just saying world soul food. That's how I would compartmentalize that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, man, that's dope. Before we cut out of here, let me get your, I ain't gonna say top 5 in order. It could be no particular order. Give me your top hip hop producers.
Okay. Top hip hop producers. All right. Dr. Dre. Let's see. Like I said, Havoc. Kanye West. Let's see. Dr. Dre, Havoc, Kanye West.
See, this hot.
Primo. DJ Premier.
Yeah.
I owe you one more, right? Yeah, I owe you one more.
Yeah, give me one more.
Damn. Who is? And I'm gonna hit you on late, like, man, I meant to say this one. No take backs. I love P Rock.
Yeah,
I really do. But let's see.
You got Large Pro.
Yeah, you got Large Professor. You got Just Blaze.
Yeah.
Ooh, shit.
And I got my boys. I got my brothers down south. You
got Swiss Beats. Yeah, you're right. I ain't even DJ Toomp. You got all of them. Come on, man.
And
I didn't even get to them.
Yeah.
And Joe.
Manny Fresh and them. Yeah.
Manny Fresh. Manny Fresh was my shit. I love Manny Fresh.
Yeah, it's just, man, I just appreciate. That's why, and I think even with the verses thing, I have a hard time getting into the verses because
you feel me?
because I like, man, I just like Common said on I used to love her, black music is black music and it's all good.
Yeah.
And I feel I don't want to put somebody like they talking about the UGK up against A-Ball and MJG. I don't even want to look at it as a contest.
I hate doing that. It's like, no, I used to love both of them.
Yeah, I'm
I
like,
used to love space age balling and all that shit, man. Come on, man.
Let's just bump this, keep the lights down low and bump this shit for one night and just, it ain't got to be about a contest, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would say the other one is probably RZA because I was a huge fan of the Wu-Tang catalog. Right, so I would say that. But if we did the 10 and all that, then all of them cats you mentioned would be in my 10, my top 10.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's hard to do a 5 or a 10.
It's just too hard to narrow.
Because even after
narrow it down.
Even after that, you still got to look at the guys who like Marley Marl, and you got to look at them.
Exactly. It's like you got to go back to the OGs.
Exactly. You got to go back to the shot, the Bomb Squad, and all that. Right?
Exactly. It's like, come on, man.
This is Nathan Rideaux. This is FoodDope. Chilling today with Chef Poe from Rebel Foodie by Poe. And man, yes. You want to take us out, man? What you got to say, bro?
I just want to say, stay tuned and check in with my man Nathan, representing that International FoodDope podcast, and check in with Rebel Foodie by Poe, and support this brother. Great spirit, great platform, and if he'll have me back, I'll be back. That's and right. I'll bring friends too. That's and right. Family.
You want to give your social media handles?
Yeah, the handle is as follows. IG is Chef Poe _ by Poe. That's CHEFPOE _ BYPOE. Or you can hit me up on FB, Facebook, which is by Chef Poe. And if you are on Clubhouse, you can check me out at Rebel Foodie. Peace and blessings to you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for being here. And this is the Professor Nathan T. Rideaux. And you remember, you'll never understand the weight this culture carries unless you live a life. And I lived a life. Peace.
Exactly. Peace.
International FoodDope, brought to you by Urban Science Media, hosted by Nathan T. Rideaux, aka The Professor. Find us on all major podcast platforms. Follow us on IG at FoodDope Podcast and at The Professor 73. You'll never underestimate the weight this culture carries unless you live the life. And I lived the life. We got history.